Hello there, you all struggling hunters and everyone that's I guess that fits in that mantra, whatever, whatever you're doing. I'm sure whatever it is, you're struggling somewhere. And but welcome to this episode number 50. You got me, Joe, and then we have
Eric.
and we make up the struggling hunters. And like I said, you're out there struggling. We appreciate your time. We want you to know that we do value the few minutes or however long it is that you listen to us. And wanted to start off by saying that this is episode number 50. And
We hit the milestone, man. It's crazy. 50 episodes. 50 episodes we've been doing this.
yeah, like it's kind of interesting. I don't know, you know, yeah, at 50, that's a lot. That's time commitment.
It is a lot of time commitment. And I mean, I don't know, for the next 50, I hope that we get better. And I mean, I think we're in this thing now. I mean, 50 episodes, like we're too far in it to stop now, So it's amazing though. I mean, to think that just doing this every week, putting in the time, doing the effort, and now, you know, it's one of those things that I'm glad that we're not starting today, if that makes sense. Like we're not starting a podcast today. We've already started it. We're not quite a year yet. We got like 4 more episodes or whatever. 2 more.
Two
What
more.
is it? 2 more.
Yeah.
We got 2 more episodes till we're a full year in, but um yeah, here we are. I mean, 50 episodes in and doing the thing.
And it's trying to like, I don't know how proper word, but like hopefully you can feel our excitement. Um, or you can tell we're excited one way or another, and trying to put that into words, or it's. I remember, I think I said it before, like the first night, or Eric. I think Eric texted me back when, all that 50 episodes ago, and I was like, "Hey, we should try doing a podcast and using Zoom." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." I had no clue what this would look like, and I think we don't really. We have an idea what it looks like now, but we're still learning. But I just remember, sitting there like, "All right, let's do this. Let's see where it goes." And and I don't. At least me and Eric feel like we have the gift to gab. I'm sure sometimes those that are listening are probably like, "All right, guys, you're beating a dead horse. Move on," or something. But you may not enjoy it, and hopefully you do. But we're enjoying it if we're talking too much, I guess.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, it's amazing that we make as much content and as long as we do. Whenever this first started, I was like, I don't know if we can even get 20 minutes in, and I don't know how many episodes we've done an hour, right at an hour, sometimes a little over an hour. We've tried to get a little bit better and cut it down every once in a while. But even last week's podcast, I think we went up to an hour, and
Yeah.
it's amazing because like Joe said, I mean, sometimes we might circle talk a little bit or just kind of ramble on, but at the same time, it's amazing that we can come up with the content still, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just it's been fun. Like Joe said, like, we're having fun with it. Of course, we want to grow and we want to make a good podcast, but we kind of knew coming into the thing that it's going to take a little while for us to get good and or make a real show out of it or whatnot. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a loaded statement, but we're still learning how to be more entertaining, I guess, like just making these little micro adjustments every podcast. And you know, when we go through the, when we go through a podcast and it's like, oh, I didn't realize I said that whatever that way. And we, try to adjust and get a little better. I know I'm really self-critical. I don't know if Joe, I don't know if you hide it or if you're just as self-critical, but I know me, I every little thing that I say, I criticize myself pretty good. So I'm always trying to get better on this.
Yeah, like I would say that like I'm always trying to get better. I don't know how critical I really really am on my well, okay, yes, I am critical. I will say that like in life, I'm probably, like a little more, I don't want to use the word self conscience, conscience. But yeah, like I, sometimes I'll get in a crowd or some places and it's like, well, I don't want to do something stupid or but like, but doing this and doing it with you, doing a podcast, like I know that you're gonna tell me where I messed up at times, or like, hey, you know, I don't know, you need to get better with your words. Not that you have, but there have been a couple times where it's like a little constructive criticism or building or whatever. But like, okay, but back to where I was trying to say is being on this with you, I know I can kind of more or less be myself and not really worry about what you're going to say. And yeah, the listeners will probably care a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you know it's it is what it is, and I get to talk about what I want to talk about.
That's kind of funny you say that, because I always like, whenever I'm listening to these, um, I guess it probably works for us or whatever, because I'm always thinking, oh man, I sounded like crap on that, but Joe always sounds good. Like I always just kind of, I'm just critiquing myself more than anything. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe it could be a disservice, because maybe I do need to be like, oh, Joe, need to improve on that. But I feel like we're kind of both in it to get, like, I'm not any more professional at this stuff than you are. We started at the same exact time. We're both learning at the same exact time. So I mean, what am I going to say, cause I'm making every mistake that you could be making. So,
Right.
um, yeah, like I said, I uh, just try to get better. I mean, for myself every time. And
Like
I think we have, go ahead.
and I was gonna say, like I'll say I'll try to pay attention more to other podcast presenters or other people that are doing what we're doing, and I can't remember, like I try to like, oh, I like how they talk, or I like how they phrase the question, or I like how they came back and circled back to that idea and how they, transition things. I can't remember, like I can't put all that into practice, but I try to, you know, critique myself that way. And I don't always do it like how I want to change, but I don't, and then at the same time, I don't want to change who I am. I just want to present a little better is all.
Yeah. That presenting thing is, it can be challenged whenever you never been challenged to get good at it before,
Yeah.
uh I remember, was it speech class or something in high school, and we had to present in front of the class. And the funny thing is when I'm sitting in my chair in class, I mean, I was one of the biggest class clowns, and you know just a goofball, didn't hardly pay attention. But whenever I had to stand up and get in front of the class, oh, it was horrible. I mean, I don't know how I didn't put everybody to sleep. I presented so horribly, and I think of all that stuff, and now we're doing a podcast, and I mean, every week we're kind of presenting, and it's just crazy how far I've came. But I never really had a desire until basically all this technology, podcasting and YouTube and all that. I never really had a desire to do any of that, talk in front of people or any of that. So I never really thought about getting better with it. And now now that it's a part of my life, it's something that I really want to obviously get better at.
Right. And I think, like, and then it's kind of interesting too, being that we started this podcast kind of, mostly surrounded by hunting and outdoors. And I know we talked about it and we haven't really brought it back up, but, as far as like, it's kind of an all encompassing journey of bettering our lives, and I say that is like, we want to be better woodsmen, and we want to be better hunters, and and all that, and better presenters with struggling hunters and engaging people and trying to figure out how that is. And that it's just kind of interesting if we can take a step back and actually put into practice everything we've been trying to change, and change takes time. That hopefully in a couple of years, we've have this journey recorded of us becoming someone better.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. Speaking of that, I do kind of want to bring it back to the beginning of all this. And I remember when we first started, I want to say even our first podcast on the Zoom here, you hit go to go, and man, I was so nervous. Like, I don't know if you felt the same nervous energy, but I was so nervous. Uh, and we started going. I mean, I remember, I want to say it was the first one that we ever did. Like, we hit go, and like 2 seconds in, I'm like, Joe, cut it. And then we did another one, but I was so nervous to even get started. And now, we just get on here and kind of go through it, and it's gotten so much more comfortable. And then the other two things that I still make the mistake on some of them, but I know whenever I would listen to myself back on the first couple episodes, you'd be talking and I would sit there and uh-huh. But now in person, it probably works because you're giving those inflections like, hey, I'm paying attention, I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm agreeing or whatever. In person, it's great, but on a podcast, it kind of gets annoying whenever you hear this little to everything that everybody says. And that was one critique that I realized what I was doing. I was like, oh, that don't sound too good. The other one, and this one I definitely still do it to this day, is the ums. But I think our first probably 10 podcasts, it was pretty horrible, the ums. And but they've gotten a lot better. Yeah. Yeah. I actually hate even saying it, or I was kind of like hesitating to even wanting to say it a little bit. Cause I was like, once I say it, I'll be saying it for the rest of the podcast,
right,
probably.
now that it's
Yeah,
in your head.
exactly.
But yeah, so it's like episode 50, and like I sure like it's been a journey. And I remember too, like, I'll take it back to, and like Eric was brought it up, and we get talking about it, and we haven't even discussed like how often we're gonna make an episode, and Eric commits us to one a week. I was like, all right, here we go. We're doing this. So, I was like sitting there thinking like, oh, we'll do this one, get it out, and critique it a little bit and try to do better, figure it out. And like, all right, he's going to commit us to one a week. I'm going to hold him to it.
and you have, I've actually been the only one. You haven't missed a Tuesday once. I've been the only, I mean, I feel like I had a pretty good excuse. Did I do it twice or just once? My daughter was born like on a podcast night.
Right.
And so I definitely couldn't make the podcast that night. So we've met up. I feel like there was another time that we did a couple like Fridays or something.
There was a couple of Fridays and a Saturday. And then while you were out doing your hunt, you didn't have cell phone service, so we couldn't do one on your hunt. And I've always made it home because I've always done a long weekend. I haven't taken, so I'd do like a Friday, Monday off. So I was always home Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's always kind of worked out that we haven't. And I want to say those ones that we did on oddball days, or whenever I was hunting too, we had a couple. We were like 2 or 3 podcasts ahead actually, so
yeah, correct.
it kind of worked out to where whenever I was hunting, we just released one that week. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we put in the work, and you know, we're growing slowly, but we're growing. And
true. And it is kind of fun to say, like you said, Eric. I'm glad we're not just starting now. Like, I'm glad we have 50 episodes behind us. Like, it's kind of fun, or yeah, I don't know the word honorable, but like, it's just kind of nice to be like, oh, we got 50 of them under our belt. Like we're not just starting out. It's kind of fun. We still got a long ways to go, but it's fun to be able to be like, yeah, we have 50 of them behind us.
yeah, I think we could kind of consider ourselves podcasters, or media personnel of some sort. I can't really say an influencer, but
Right.
uh, some kind of media something. I don't
True.
know, but yeah, it's man, it's been a fun journey, and I mean, yeah, I don't know how much more I could say about it, but it's just exciting to be at 50 episodes in, and I mean, just still plugging along, still have the same energy for it. And I kind of think the next 50, I think every things are going to start rolling our way a little bit better. And, just like this is sort of a business, this podcasting platform. And just like any business, there's ups and downs, and growing pains. And me and Joe, we're still learning everything to this. I mean, it's amazing how much more goes on behind the scenes than because you're trying to think of ways to grow. And me and Joe, we both have full-time jobs, families. We got all of it. So trying to fit all this in, and and then make time to get better at podcasting, but also hunting, and uh, I mean, the hunting aspect of it, I don't know. Like, obviously, our pursuit is always to get better, but it was kind of like, I think like one of our missions toward us doing hunting, or separating us from, is that we really are just regular dudes that like to just love hunting. It's more about the passion of hunting, and not the fact that we're professional hunters.
Right.
Like to get there someday, or at least maybe somebody throw us in that category of, I mean, being a professional hunter. I don't know if I don't know if I would ever feel comfortable enough to call myself a professional hunter, but it'd be nice to be maybe thrown in that category at some point in our lives. But this podcast, our mission was to mostly just talk about our passion for hunting, and how we love it, what we plan on doing to what we plan on doing to get better, and then hopefully, as you guys, the listeners slash viewers, kind of see our growth as time goes on too, with hopefully more success, and kind of just like riding that journey with us. I
Yeah.
think I think it, I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to always do this, is kind of build that journey. It would have been nice to be like, oh yeah, we decided to do a podcast, and we got trophies all over the wall, but it's not quite that way for us. So I mean, we got trophies, but they're more personal trophies, memories, not
Right. Well,
not record breaking trophies.
and I hope that like we can we are able to bring that across, more relatable, or not more relatable, but help us be relatable. Is that's like you said, is what we are, is we do have a couple antlers that we have hung up, and we can look at them and smile and share, and show. But at the same time, for each one of those, I guess you want to call it trophies or memories that are hung on the wall, there's memory banks full of unsuccessful hunts, but that are just full of all sorts of other memories and stories that can be told that, you can just sit there and laugh at. So, that's hopefully we can continue to, I think we've done that, and hopefully we continue to portray that and maybe get better at sharing some of those stories of what we've learned and didn't learn, or how we messed up, and maybe get better. Maybe we don't get better. Like, I think some things that me and Eric are pretty, I guess, thick headed. You might tell us, like, hey, you might want to look at doing it this way. And we're like, oh yeah, sounds good. We like that. Sounds awesome. But then we get out there in the woods and, we're
We want to do it our way.
right.
It is a problem. It is a problem.
But yeah, but I mean, I think, we've kind of filled that hole, I guess, with talking about episode 50. I don't know, we can move on to another. I think it kind of, being that we're talking about, learning and whatnot, that one of our topics was being a manly man while hunting for tonight. And maybe it might be a good segue to bring that up and what we mean by that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I could, well, let me start it off this way is growing up. This kind of stemmed from a conversation that me and Joe had earlier about being a manly man growing up. Uh, I had, like, we would have these rifles, right? And there was little to zero padding on the butt of the stock. And, I mean, I remember if you even brought up, man, I've been thinking about getting a sissy pad. Hence the word sissy pad, by the way. I got to throw that in there. Man, you get hazed by your buddies, oh, you need a sissy pad. And nowadays, whenever people are doing gun reviews and that's one of the main topics that they point out whenever they do those reviews. And I mean, I have to kind of agree with them is it makes a difference whenever you have a little bit of padding there and and you're shooting your rifle, and I think that it helps with shooting fatigue. Uh, as far as, like, if you want to get a couple more rounds downrange, instead of only shooting 3 or 4 rounds and your shoulder hurting so bad you don't want to shoot no more. If you have a sissy pad, you can maybe shoot, a few more rounds out of it, I guess. And so, uh, yeah, being a manly man, like, I just feel like whenever we grew up, uh, sometimes I think that mindset would kind of get in your way sometimes from being efficient, having the manly man trying to be the tough guy all the time, can get in the way of being efficient, especially in your hunts and your rifles and or the choice of rifle. Everybody wants the biggest caliber without a sissy pad. That's what makes you a real man, but you only shoot
Well,
it once, then you put it in your truck. Yeah,
well,
she's right on.
right.
And then you got ice on your shoulder whenever you get home at night.
And, it's kind of like on that point, like in today's world, how much that has kind of changed a little bit. Like, you were, oh, I got a 338 Ultra Mag back in the day, and, you know, awesome. But now, it's crazy how that's changed, or how an understanding, I guess, a better understanding of what's going on. And now they have what do you call it, muzzle brakes, or uh that go on the barrel, so now you can shoot your bigger rifles and it doesn't kick you as bad.
Yeah. Yeah. They,
And like, kind of to your point, as far as as shooting goes, how now, like you said, back in the day, you're gonna set back in there, you're gonna take that kick, and you're not, you ain't gonna complain about it to your buddies, you're gonna get horse stomped and be like, oh, that felt good, yeah, that's awesome. That's a fine shooting gun. And like you said, then you get home and it's like, dude, I got a horse hoof bruise right there on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then you're scared of the gun. But like you said, being proficient and getting that sissy pad and really getting in there and having that confidence that you're not anticipating that kick. You sitting behind the scope and pulling the trigger, and you're just waiting for that click, not sitting there like, okay, I know the gun's gonna go off. It's going off sometime. Ah. So you know it's funny like how we take that. I guess we'll continue using the word sissy, and then now that you got your gun sissified, but yet you have more confidence in how you're shooting.
Yeah, you're more accurate. It's funner to go shoot. The 6.5 Creedmoor. I mean, that's like a really popular gun right now,
Yeah,
and it does. I guess I haven't shot one, but from my understanding is it doesn't kick that hard.
right,
It's just crazy how times have changed, and because like you said, I mean, kind of piggybacking off of what you said is back in the day, you had to have the biggest caliber and had to have an elephant gun and uh no sissy pad
right,
and yeah, times have definitely changed, and now it's just more, it just makes more sense, and that's kind of the point of, I mean, I kind of said it earlier, but the being the manly man, you can get in your own way with that mindset, because it's great to be the manly man, but sometimes you get in your own way and you're not as efficient. You pick up a flinch when you shoot because it hurts every time you shoot, and then you go out there and try to practice on a live animal, and then that flinch throws your bullet off and you either wound the animal or you miss completely, which hopefully you miss I mean, on an ethical standpoint, I would rather miss completely than wound an animal and not
right,
recover it. Um but yeah, you know it's just kind of just a food for thought, if you will, food for thought,
right.
however
Well,
that saying goes.
and it's like it's kind of, we throw this word out that like being a manly man and being tough, and there is times where that is called for, but it's just kind of interesting. Like we use these words, manly man, sissy, and but if you really stop and you want to become a better hunter, you're going to set your gun up to a way that you're um you're going to be comfortable shooting. You're not going to be worried about the kick, and other things in life. You don't always need to be tough on everything, but but yeah, and understanding, like that you can take that as far as hiking through the woods, and the old adage of never asking for directions, getting lost.
Yep.
But taking that time and understanding where you are, and being being of mind to be able to ask for whatever directions you can find out there to keep yourself from getting lost.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of going off of that, like just escaping the gun idea, kind of like what you were saying about going out in the woods and hiking or even camping. I remember when I was younger, and or when we were in high school, and some of the camping trips, and it was like, I got a sleeping bag, and I got a can of tuna or
Right.
whatever, and you just go out and we're doing the thing. We're a bunch of, we're young men, and now, I kind of got a whole truck bed full of camping gear now because I want to be extra prepared. But I don't know. That it was kind of nice back then, and nothing. I mean, I never really got in any horrible situations where I thought I was going to starve or anything. Might have been a little hungry by the time I got to town because didn't bring enough food.
Right.
Um, but
But
there it was good times though.
yeah, yeah, that you learn from that, like you said, you survived the night, and you're like, yeah, it was only maybe 12 hours you're out there, and that one can of tuna fish, you're probably starving pretty good, you're like, oh, oh man, it was horrible. But
Yeah,
really, you kept yourself somewhat safe. But anyways, yeah.
yeah. Remember that? Remember that? I was just talking about this to my wife because we're going down a pancake uh, avenue. That camping trip that we all took. I think we were all graduated out of high school. Me, you, Louie. Was it Frank and Matt?
um
Or was it just Frank?
no,
Or was,
Matt. Yeah, I believe Matt was there.
I think it was all.
Yeah,
I think it
it
was
was
five
a
of us.
yeah.
And Louis, I don't know if I threw out Louis' name, but anyway, do you remember? You remember stopping at my aunt's house and getting those huckleberries?
Yeah, vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Oh, so you probably do you remember the pancakes at all?
Not really.
Oh man, that's so funny because well, I guess it doesn't make much of a story. I thought you'd probably remember, but
Sorry.
that's cool, man. Um, I remember those we made huckleberry pancakes in the pan the
Uh-huh.
next morning. And I was telling my wife just the other day, I was having this conversation. I was like, man, those were the best pancakes that I ever had, those huckleberry pancakes. And uh, I mean, it kind of takes away the point of the story if you don't remember, but
Sorry.
it's all good. It's all
Eric's
good.
going off on this proud moment of something successful, and I'm taking it away from him.
Yeah. Well, I just remember I remember thinking like just how good they were. I think she gave us the pancake batter because I don't know if we probably had a can of tuna and that was about it. But she gave us pancake batter and huckleberries that they picked, and we went down there. But I was just saying, I was like, I don't know if it was just because we were so hungry or what it was, but it was like the best pancakes I ever had.
You know, it's funny. I don't know. I think I told you then, but I don't know if you remember. So I drove like 14 hours straight to be there on time.
Oh,
I came up from here in Utah, and I think I got. Oh no, that's. Oh geez, man, we're going down a rabbit hole. I guess I'll tell the story. So I was down in Utah, um, and I took off, and I had a buddy that was in Lewis. Oh wow, I can't believe I did this. That was in Lewiston. That was from Washington. He was from Washington, and he was in Lewiston for a paintball tournament. And then we were leaving the next day to go camping. So I can't remember what day it was. So I got to Lewiston at like 11:30 midnight, maybe one or so in the morning. Now it had to have been like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I think I was telling him on the way up, I was like, dude, I'm gonna be there like way early. And he's like, oh, it's okay. Like, no worries. Like, I want to see you. I was like, him and his wife. I think he had a kid, a baby that was just a couple months old. And then his mom and dad were all there for this paintball tournament. And so I busted over to Lewiston, saw him for a couple hours, and then I drove all the way back to Cami, up the hill to my house, grabbed some camping gear, and then I maybe got an hour or 2 hours of sleep. I can't remember how much, and then I drove down the hill to meet up with you guys.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that how we I can't remember how we met up because I don't I feel like I either you rode with me or I rode with
I
you.
rode with you because you had that old Ford little like or it was a F. I don't know if it was, I think it was a 150 80s early 90s that had like the little extended cab. I think the
Yeah,
window was busted out too.
probably.
So we drove up in your pickup. Me and you were in your pickup, and then I think the rest of the crew were in. I can't remember what vehicle they drove up. But I vaguely remember pulling into your aunt's driveway once we got up on the way.
Yeah, because we went through, which a lot of people are gonna won't know these towns, but for whatever reason, well, I mean, I kind of know the reason, but we could have went Orfino. It probably would have been faster to go to Orfino and up, but for whatever reason, we went through Weeip and Pierce and back there to the old Potlatch Mill, and they lived like right past the Potlatch Mill, so I was like, hey, let's stop in here real quick and say hi or something, and then we did that, and then yeah, she hooked us up with a bunch of food.
Uh,
She might have hooked us up with more than that, but I remember my memory is the pancakes. I remember the pancakes.
yeah. Oh god, memories. I can share another memory on that hump or on that camping trip. But I don't know if you want to keep going down that hole.
Not, yeah, you're probably right. Well, and that's actually kind of funny about that because there's certain things we've talked about that camping trip 100 different times, and there's certain things that you remember that I don't for whatever reason.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was fun though. And then we planned on. I mean, here we are going down a rabbit hole. We're way off topic, but uh, we with that said, I'll continue. Uh, we uh, we were like, yeah, let's do this every year, and then we never did it again.
yeah. I ended up.
Or
So that was
you
that.
did it. You did it one time after I think or something, but for
No,
some reason
well,
I.
we did it the year before we graduated. I think it was Matt, Frank, and Louie did it the year before we graduated, and then
Oh, okay,
the summer after. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't the summer after. So I got back from my mission. So it was like 2 summers after.
gotcha.
God, there's some time. Yeah, yeah. So and then we're like, yeah, let's do this every year. Then I think I got married that next summer, and yeah, not that that had anything to do with it. Well, it had probably some to do with it, but started a life here in Utah and then haven't really made it back to Idaho.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, especially I don't know if it's an age thing or like I mean, the last like few years, us having kids and everything, I'm like, I don't want to travel anywhere, man. It's too much of a headache with the kids and just it's like it's not fun, man. Thinking, oh man, for me it's like 17, 18 hours. That's if I'm going pretty good too, pretty good pace. I'm like, I have no desire to travel that long. So
Oh,
yeah, good old times though. I mean, we got way off traffic, but or way off topic about being a manly man, but I like going down memory lane like that. It's fun.
it is. Should we just, I don't know, you wanna button it up with that? So,
Yeah, let's finish it up a little early. And I mean early. I say early, but it's kind of been a while.
right. Well, like I just feel like too, like we just kind of, we went down a fun little memory lane there, and instead of trying to get back on topic somewhere, we can just be a good spot to
kind of leave on a high.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, you want me to get us out of here?
Sure. I'll allow you.
Do you have anything? You have any closing thoughts?
Um, just thanks for listening. Episode 50. Appreciate it. Um, remember, being a manly man doesn't always make you a better man. And that's it.
It's a pretty good quote. I like that. I like that. Well, guys, uh, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to another episode. We love the support. It's so great to see this support on the analytics. 50 episodes in. Uh, it's one of those things where our analytics don't really phase us either one way or another. And I mean, if they weren't in our faces so much, it'd be easier to just be like, hey, let's just keep our heads down, not look at the analytics. But they're kind of right there, with on the back end of our channels and stuff. So it's kind of hard not to kind of glance at them every once in a while, see where we're at, and we're always, you guys are always listening to us, and man, I mean, it's an every episode thing that we talk about. And one day, maybe we'll be a little more professional and not bring it up like this every time, but really appreciate all the support. And I know that it's going to get bigger and bigger as time goes on, and just really appreciate that. And with that said, guys, thanks for listening to the Struggling Hunters. We will talk to you in the next one.
Bye.